We have had double-barreled guns or gun systems, turrets, in the game for a very long time already. So far only by design, not doing anything special or useful, just looked a bit cooler. But not for long, maybe. Because ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another news episode, where today I am here to let you know that yes, Wargaming is actually working on this new game mechanic, new to World of Tanks at least. They are thinking about bringing in double barrel action to high tiers as well. But don't worry, nothing is decided yet, all will be more clear after some testing, after some internal office testing, some super testing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they are going to make it available for us mortals as well, through sandbox test server maybe, or public test server would be even better, to see how it makes or breaks the game. Anyway, a couple months ago I was able to share a couple first early pictures and details about the SD2, which basically was an SD1 with two barrels, hence the name SD2. But we didn't know too much about it, about this system and Wargaming plans with this double gun barrel system, until yesterday. In the Wargaming Fest 2019 and in the live stream yesterday, they revealed many more details with some actual gameplay footage as well, which you are seeing on the background. So let's not waste any more time and let's dive right into the action. Double-barreled guns. They said they had couple main reasons why they didn't bring them in earlier. They knew about us, they knew about the community who was asking for double-barreled action, simply because we already had those designs in the game, but they wanted to introduce it to the game's ecosystem without destroying it. Before releasing Italian auto-reloaders to the game, for example, they didn't have proper technical abilities or ideas how to implement it. But after Italian tanks, they started working on it, on this double-barreled gun system. I guess this auto-reloading system on the Italian vehicles gave them some extra ideas, some new ideas. And here was actually another reason why it kind of got delayed or why they didn't look into it too much earlier. And the reason is historical accuracy, of course. There are not too many details, not too many blueprints about historically accurate double-barrel tanks, so they kinda had to dig deep, and I guess they had to make up some details about him as well. Of course, if the tank was never designed, they have to do their own designing in the head. But yeah, to find historically accurate double-barrel tanks is not so easy. Anyway, here is some historical stuff about this topic, which says the first designs of tanks with multi-barreled guns appeared back in 1941 already. Soviet engineers worked on a 3-barreled version of the T-34 called T-34-3, nice name, and 2 and 3 gun versions of the KV-7, but none of these prototypes ever left the drawing board. And by the way, in the video I actually heard that this KV-7 was an SPG prototype, so 3 guns on a single SPG. I wonder how that would do in World of Tanks. Or actually, I hope I am never going to find that out. One of the most famous projects of this type is 2-gun version of the SD1, named SD2. This modification is the most well known to players, although it was never brought to life in metal. But hopefully we are able to see it in this game at least. Balanced version of it. But basically what they said about real life was they had many ergonomical issues, making it hard to produce, basically impractical in real life. But in World of Tanks it does not matter. I do not know yet if luckily or sadly, only time will tell. And as I mentioned at the start of the episode, nothing is decided yet, everything is depending on the test results, if it is going to break the game or not. But now let's go back into the same episode and let's listen what they have to say about this entire mechanic, how it works and how you can use it. Can we get that double barrel shootout action as well, when you can fire 2 guns at the same time? Let's listen.
In this video, we'll talk about the mechanic, using a prototype vehicle as an example, which may be added to the game at some point. We wanted to first of all test the mechanic itself, not the characteristics of a certain vehicle or its peculiarities in the game. That's why we use a so-called baseline vehicle. It'll be a heavy tank, it'll be slow, and it'll of course have 2 guns. And it will not be the ST-2. It does not suit Tier 8 very well. And we wanted to test this mechanic precisely for Tier 8. Here's our vehicle. As you can see, it has 2 guns. They are the same caliber. The vehicle can fire these guns in 3 different ways. The general cyclic way, consecutive fire, and the double shot with both guns simultaneously.
I have to say it right away, that double barrel shotgun action looks cool as hell. And the sound effects were also kinda amazing, if they didn't tune it in the editing software.
Cyclic Mode is the simplest one. You can even say it's the classic. You fire a shell, wait for reloading to complete, and fire the next gun. Because we have 2 guns, and at any given moment of time, only one of them can be active, meaning the one we are aiming with, or the camera is looking through, the game switches to the next gun automatically after the shot, alternating one after another.
Similar to the Italian vehicles, we can identify a second way of shooting, similar to a classic autoloader. We have a time for loading between shots, and you fire a number of shells sequentially.
But there's a catch. If you fire your second gun while the first one is reloading, the reloading of the first gun is interrupted. Now for the interesting part, firing 2 guns. How does it work?
It's pretty simple to fire both guns at the same time. Just press and hold the left mouse button, which will start the shot preparation. When it ends, both guns will fire simultaneously.
The player can cancel this preparation phase simply by releasing the left mouse button if firing is impossible, or the enemy has left your line of fire. Both guns are locked after the double shot, and neither of them can be reloaded for some time. The method of aiming and shell trajectory became the main obstructions for the entire mechanic. We had a choice of aiming both guns at the same time, or in some other way. To fire both shells at the same time or consecutively. From 2 points or from 1. We ended up selecting aiming with 1 active gun.
To understand shell trajectories, you only need to know 2 things. First, shells always fly parallel to each other, despite the deviation from the central axis during aiming. And second, the distance between flying shells equals the distance between the vehicle's guns.
Shells hit different spots, so we calculate damage and penetration for each shell separately. It means that one of the shells may penetrate while the other may ricochet. Either that or both shells penetrate the armor and deal different damage.
There is one more important aspect. Shells fly from each gun, and each gun has its own calculations. It's very important to understand that if the left gun has a direct line of sight with a target for shooting and you can hit it, that doesn't mean that the right gun isn't blocked by something. For example, this kind of situation can happen. You're standing near the corner of a building and aiming with your left gun. You can clearly see the target and able to penetrate it, so you prepare to fire. But in the current aiming mode, you can't correctly calculate the firing direction of the second gun, which might really be aiming at the wall. So after the double shot, the shell from the right gun would hit the wall, while the shell from the left gun would hit the target as intended. Also, there is always the same type of shell in both guns. If you want to change the shell type, for example from AP to APCR, you will have to reload both guns. You can't have different shells in different guns. How do you play such a vehicle? It's pretty simple. Generally, you either use cyclical reloading or consecutive. This type of gameplay is familiar to players as they actively use it for vehicles with autoloaders. So it's not hard. Shoot if you see the target. Shoot again if you can shoot again. But the interesting part starts when you fire both guns. It's an interesting mechanic that gives you an additional opportunity in battle, but you should think twice before using it. Before firing both guns, you must consider several things at once. First, you must see your target clearly, and make sure it's not too far away for you to hit it. Second, you must estimate how the battle situation might change during the shot preparation. You must make sure the target doesn't disappear from your reticle during this time. You must also have a chance to retreat to cover after the shot so you can safely endure a lengthy reload. This mechanic will be actively tested in the Super Test in the nearest future. We will be testing the mechanic itself, not any characteristics of any vehicles nor balance parameters. We want to understand how well the mechanic integrates into the game, whether it's competitive, and if it's interesting gameplay-wise.
Okay, thank you very much. Just let us test this new gun system on the Sandbox server as well, so you have a bit better overview what the player base thinks about it. But that much about double barrel action so far. I still have so many questions, like you saw them firing in the double barrel mode or two guns at the same time. You saw some X's on the reload timers. Does that mean your guns are down for roughly 10 seconds and after that your reloading starts again, which is going to lower your DPM drastically, quite drastically indeed. So many questions, but what we have to do, we simply have to wait and see what Wargaming is going to do with it, how they're going to implement it and add it to the game. But now, please let me know what you think about that. Would you like to see it in the game or not? Let me know in the comments down below. I am going to add a little poll into the top right corner as well, so go click on it and vote. Please be honest, do you think it is going to break the game or not? Well, actually this question is kind of stupid at the moment. It depends how they are going to balance it. They can make it super underpowered, they can make it super overpowered, or they can make it balanced. Only time will tell. Anyway, this was my episode for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up button is for that. If you didn't, thumbs down button is for that. I catch you next time with something else. Stay awesome, take care, and bye.